Today I am introducing our informative unit, which revolves around inquiry and questioning. This is why the last lesson was a refresher in open and close-ended questions. Today you will continue on the question path by exploring Bloom's taxonomy, which is organizing skills in different levels based on how complex the skill is. There are a total of 6 levels or tiers. It starts with remembering on the bottom and grows in complexity with each tier. So remembering is simply recalling or remembering the information. Understanding, explain ideas or concepts. Applying, use the information in a new way. Analyzing, distinguish between the different parts. Evaluating, justify a stand or decision. And creating is create a new product or point of view. I do have a sample that will explain each tier, but it resembles the inquiry project you'll complete for this unit. So before I continue with Bloom's, I want to introduce the project. Just so we are all on the same page, I am just providing a brief overview of the project. You do not have to start. I will give an in-depth look when I launch the assignment. And the assignment will look just like this, very colorful. The first thing you'll do is pick a topic of interest and pick something that you really care about because it'll make this project go much smoother. And then you will write a sequence of questions to dig deep. And here you have the tiers of Bloom's just in reverse order. So it starts with remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. And the reason why is you will be thinking of at least one question for each tier of Bloom's. And you start at the base of the pyramid, which is remember. So it just flipped, so as you progress with the project, you just keep continuing that way. So this is Bloom's just in the reverse order. And for each question you'll have to gather information and collect resources. And simply that means whatever your question is, you have to research it and try to answer it. And that is a project. And what I want to do now is show you sample questions to clarify the tiers of Bloom's taxonomy. And this will look identical to the document I just showed you. And that's one of the main reasons I wanted to show you the project first, just because this follows the same format. So this is going to help you understand the Bloom's taxonomy pyramid. And this is what you will be doing. So again, first thing is pick a topic of interest. So for this, I picked a car engine. Then you have to think of your questions to dig deep. So remember, that is simply just recall or remember information. So something simple like, what are the parts of an engine? That's a question that would fit the remember. And then the answer would be list parts of the engine. You have pistons, crankshaft, camshaft. Understand is the next tier, and that is explain ideas or concepts. In remember, you made a list of the parts of the engine. Now, this is getting a little deeper. You know the parts, now you have to understand the parts by figuring out how they work together to make an engine run. So you can talk about how an air and fuel mixture enters a cylinder, the piston compresses it, the spark plug ignites that mixture, and that's what causes the engine to run. From there, going deeper, apply. Use the information in a new way. So now that you know how a car engine works, how does or did the engine advance civilization? The engine made it possible for people to travel. We could expand. Or talk about other vehicles. Then from there, analyze. Distinguish between the different parts. What are the different types of car engines? So you can get into gas, hybrid, electric, which if it's electric, it's a motor, not an engine. So analyze as you look at different parts or different types of engines and analyze them. Just as if you were buying a car of your own, or if you were researching what phone to buy. You look at the different models and you analyze them to come up with the one that is best suited for you. Evaluate. Justify a stand or decision. Are gas engines better than electric motors? So maybe you want to argue and say that the gas engine is better suited than one electric motor would be. Or on the flip side of that, engines revolutionize the way we travel, but at what cost to the environment? So in this one, you are taking some type of stand on your decision. And then create, which create a new product or point of view. So maybe you're looking at an engine. How can an engine become more efficient? How can an engine become more powerful? What is the next energy source or way of transportation? Alternatives to gas or oil? Sustainability. Maybe you're researching a maglev train, which is what some other countries are doing. So all things to consider when you get to the create point. As you see, we started with the simple topic of car engine. And we started with just listing the parts of the engine, and then each step went deeper for the depth of knowledge, and you eventually ended up with the create, where you're looking at very complex things of making an engine more efficient or more powerful, or finding out the next source or way of transportation. And that's the point of this project, is to start with something simple and develop it into a more complex topic. The final slide is next steps. The first thing you have to do is watch at least one of the following videos. I have to tell you, watching both will greatly help. And they take 2 Disney movies, Finding Nemo and Inside Out, and they go over different ways Bloom's taxonomy is present. And this will do a good job of helping you understand Bloom's by relating it to something that you're used to. The second step is complete the Bloom's taxonomy matching Google form. Starts with your name, and here you see the Bloom's taxonomy pyramid, and then on the left are the different tiers, remembering all the way up to creating, and then here are terms that could describe one of the tiers. So if you start with remember, recognizing and recalling facts. So down here you have to select one of these per row, and only one matches up with one of the tiers, so you can't select 2 of the same or 3 of the same. So each one of these can only have one answer, and it'll remind you down there. So if you look at remembering, which one of these could be remembering? Understanding. Understand what the facts mean. So if you can understand what the facts mean, you would be able to do what on the topic. And just so you know, I'm not using this as a grade. This is just a check for me to see where you're at. So maybe you get this, it clicks, excellent. Maybe you struggle a little bit with you. That will notify me, and I could make sure to connect and make sure that you fully understand this for moving forward. And if you do need extra practice, this Bloom's taxonomy verb sort will help you out. So it'll have the verbs associated with Bloom's taxonomy. Flip it over, and there's all different games you can play here, so you can experiment with that. That is it for this lesson. A copy of this presentation will be on my Google Classroom, along with all the links, so you'll be able to click. As always, please ask if you have any questions, and we will talk to you later.